You have got to stop telling yourself that your traumas are a detriment to you, that you can't achieve success because of what you've gone through in your childhood, because of where you grew up in, because of where you live. You have to stop telling yourself these stories. A lot of us will make our wounds our weapons. It will make us not show up in the way that we want to. It will not allow us to achieve success. And because of this, we continuously hold ourselves back in our entire life. We never get to truly show up and live the life that we are deserving of. Does that resonate at all? I'm sure that it probably does, because a vast majority of our society every day shows up in their wounds, shows up in their limiting beliefs. And this video here today is going to help you look at your wounds as your superpowers rather than something that continuously holds you back in all areas of your life. So those wounds that you experience came from a time in your childhood. So when you were growing up, you probably experienced some sort of trauma. And this could have been falling off the swing set when you were 5 years old and kids made fun of you for crying when you fell off the swing set. So in that moment, you felt like you weren't lovable. And then that got stored within your body. And it's like these scrapes and these wounds that get stuck to us as we grow up. And the reason most of this happens in our childhood is because we're really learning our reality. We're learning how to survive in this reality. When you're going through your childhood, you are really learning your reality, but you don't really have a grasp on what reality is. So you go through all these different experiences and you try new things, but you aren't really able to defend for yourself. You are really in the world just living, and you don't have all these narratives that keep you from living in the way that you feel that you're meant to. But what this also does is it makes us very vulnerable to experiencing trauma and experiencing pain. And so we go through these experiences as a child where in our family, maybe we were abused, we were emotionally abused. And so all those wounds get stuck within us. And they really get stuck within our nervous system and our subconscious mind. Nervous system and subconscious mind are basically hand in hand. And so your nervous system runs throughout your entire body. And when you experience the trauma as a child and you didn't properly express your emotions, that trauma then gets stored within your body, and that is a wound. And it gets stored within your subconscious mind. So your conscious mind dictates 5% of your reality. That is your everyday thoughts that run through your mind and making decisions. But what really dictates those decisions and then the reality that you see is your subconscious mind, which dictates 95% of your reality. And so that trauma that you experienced that got stored in you, that told you that you were not enough, well, that's stored in your subconscious mind, which is affecting your conscious mind and your thoughts and the decisions that you make each and every single day. So those wounds that you are experiencing is showing up in your relationships. It's showing up in your job, in your career. It's showing up in your friendships. So, because you feel like you're not enough, you probably have toxic relationships in your life. You have people that don't fully see you, don't fully honor you. You're in relationships where you're not fully seen and you're not fully loved. So this wound that is affecting your decisions is causing you to then have all these relationships in your life where you're not fully seen, you're not fully loved because you don't feel fully lovable. Does that make sense? So this is showing up in all areas of your life, is these wounds. And so then we carry these wounds all throughout our life. And then this leads to dis-ease. This leads to dysfunction, because I believe the main reason for this is that your soul wants to live a certain life. It wants to fully express itself, know that it's lovable, be fully lovable, know it's enough, and live in that way. That's how we lived when we were just a child, but all these narratives got stuck with us and we experienced the abuse. So now as an adult, we don't live our soul's fullest expression because you are a spiritual being having a human experience. You are a soul that chose to incarnate into this human realm, and your soul wants to fully express itself. But because it can't, that is why we experience dis-ease, is because my soul wants to live this life and be fully expressed, but because of the wounds that I carry, I am not able to fully express myself. Does that make sense? So that is why we experience dis-ease, is because there's a wound that is keeping my soul from fully expressing itself. So there is dis-ease within my system. I have a soul that wants to live this life, but I have a human body that isn't allowing me to. So there's friction and there's tension, and this causes disease. And that is why so many people go through midlife crises, is because they get to an age where they're 50 years old, and then they're living a life that they were never truly meant for, but they developed this life from the wounds that they carried as a child, and now their whole reality is just created from wounds. And that's what every single person does mostly in this life, is their whole life is created from these wounds and created from these traumas. And then you live your life from a trauma-based place. And so you live your life from the past continuously. You're never living in the full present moment. You're just living your life from your wounds because you think that you're not enough. You feel like you're not deserving, and that is how you live your whole life, and it shows up in every single situation. So you live your life from fear. You never invest into things that you want to do because you don't feel deserving of it. You never truly have your divine partnership because you don't feel deserving of it. And that is what these wounds do. And so, if you don't want to live from your wounds, the wounds are not something to actually get rid of. And this is very important. You don't want to get rid of the wounds. What you actually want to do is you want to honor the wounds. And as you start to honor the wounds, you start to recognize that your wounds are actually something not to run away from, not to live your life from, but they were there and are here to teach you. Because let's zoom out for a second. Let's get esoteric. You are a soul that chose to incarnate as a human. Part of this 3D reality, this third density that we are living in, is that when we choose to incarnate into third density, we know that we are going to forget, we are going to experience pain, we are going to experience trauma. Because when we come into the third density, there's a veil. And within that veil, we forget our divine nature. And when we forget our divine nature, that's what leaves us susceptible to pain and trauma. But as choosing to be in third density as a soul, you know that you're going to experience that. Now it is those that choose to heal from their pain and trauma that are the ones that get to live in their soul's fullest expression. So your pain and trauma is actually there to help you on your journey of knowing yourself and living as your soul's true mission and bringing that out into the world. Why is this? Well, take me, for instance. I was 4 years ago in a place where my wounds were manifesting in all areas of my life. I was depressed. I was anxious. I was suicidal. I had a really great business on the outside, but I felt empty inside because everything was run from my wounds. And then I went into deep healing. I started doing breath work every single day. I started to really start to feel my emotions, start to feel the emotions that I didn't get to feel as a child. And this has been 4 years of deep healing. And now I'm here making these videos. I have an incredible community where I guide people in their healing. I get to show up every single day in my true purpose and live as my soul's fullest expression, because the wounds, the pain, the trauma that I experienced as a child, as a teenager, those wounds, once I healed from them, gave love to them, then I got to live in my soul's fullest expression, which I'm doing now, here speaking to you. And so those wounds that you carry that say that you're not enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not lovable, you can choose to live from that and not go into your healing, not feel them, not heal them. Or you can choose to really honor those wounds, because those wounds are there just to guide you towards love. They're there to guide you to your soul, to living as your soul, your higher self. That is what they are there for. They are a gift that you chose to go through when you chose to be a human being and experience this third density reality. And so your wounds that you have not felt yet are there to feel, rather than saying, F those wounds, why are they here? Stop feeling sorry for yourself and instead honor the wounds. And a little plug here is that inside of my community, Ascension University, you can see it right here. Our September theme inside of Ascension University is making love to our wounds. I take you through videos showing you how you can heal from your wounds. I take you through a 30-minute guided practice that will show you exactly how to feel your wounds, heal them, and love them, ultimately stepping into your soul's fullest expression. So if you want to join Ascension University, it is the first link down in the description. And that is what we need to do. We need to honor our wounds. We need to love them fully. And we need to see them for what they are. So that wound that says that I'm not enough, which may have been caused from a trauma you experienced when you were 5 years old, when you go into the healing work and you feel that wound, that is what goes from I'm not lovable, has you go from I'm not lovable to I am lovable. That everything is duality. And so your I'm not lovable wound turns into I am lovable, which turns into your gift. And then as you start to heal these wounds, you start to recognize that you are enough. You always have been. You are worthy. You are lovable. And as you do that again and again, that is what allows your soul to truly come out, because your divine nature is lovable, is perfect, is enough just in the way that it is, and you don't have to do anything. And when you recognize that, you find wholeness within yourself. And when you find wholeness within yourself, you get to live in your fullest expression every day. You get to let go. You get to trust in God. And you get to trust that you are here for a divine purpose and a divine mission. And you get to live in that mission each and every single day. And I know it because I experience it now. So those wounds that you carry, feel them, heal them. Go into a process of allowing yourself to feel them. Go into breath, where you allow yourself to find safety, and then you fully feel these emotions that haven't been felt, these traumas that haven't been felt, that are stored within your body and your nervous system. You allow yourself to feel that. And the more and more that you do that, the more and more that these wounds will heal. You will recognize that they were gifts guiding you towards love within yourself. And then you get to show up in that love each day. And when you show up in love each day, you get to live your soul's true mission and your true purpose. And you get to show up in that every single freaking day. So go into the healing, feel the wounds, let them be here, and recognize that they are your gifts. If you enjoyed this video today, please like, please subscribe. And if you want to go deeper into your healing, click the first link down in the description, and I'll see you inside of Ascension University. Much love. Peace.